Alright, good afternoon everybody. Welcome to the world. Metalhead here. It's been a while since I did a vlog. You know, I've been back in the UK for the last couple of weeks. Well, 4 weeks since I just came back. So I'm thinking today, how about we do something fancy? How about we just go find those recording studios that Queensryche recorded the first album, The Warning, in. There's 4 of them scattered around London. Because the interesting thing was Queensryche put out an EP in 1983, and this got them to sign to EMI, and then all of a sudden they were recording The Warning in London, which is quite strange because they're from Seattle. So let's start the day, even though it's kind of like coming up late at 1 o'clock. Let's just walking to my closest train station. See, I've been living in this area now for 3 weeks, and it's a huge change in my life. Like, I'm no longer living in youth hostels. I mean, I spent a whole year in youth hostels in London, and now I'm living in a house. Can you believe it? So, I thought after 1 whole month living in a house in Stockholm, I thought, you know what, I'm going to go live a month in a house in London, see what it is. And so I'm quite enjoying it. So I've got a really nice landlady who provides me with breakfast. And I'm only 4 stops from my job in East London, and you know, like, there's hardly any bullshit about like key deposits. I remember used to having to sacrifice £20 in key deposits just so I could get like a place, you know. Half the central line is not working today, track work, so I had to get to Stratford and get somewhere today. Yeah. Stratford. Platform, Hackney. Oh, this isn't it. The central. So, it's my list of these 4 locations Queensryche recorded The Warning. They head to Mayfair Studios in 64 Bolton Street, Mayfair. It's Bond Street, so Central Line, same line as my house. So I'm going to get to this like first, then I'm pretty sure I should be able to walk to Mayfair and with Audio International Studios. A bit of a walk to Abbey Road. Right now, I just made it to Bond Street. Just going to get out of the station, get to my first studio, which is Mayfair Studios. Well, the ones are closest, I'll have to look at my maps. Yes. So Bond Street is here, South Molton Street right here. So Mayfair Studios is located in this area. I'm busy Oxford. It's right there, South Molton Street. Above this building at 34. Ernest Bevan, trade unionist leader and statesman, lived here in this flat. So where that building is, Saratoria Rosti, over there, this whole area was a recording studio. This is Mayfair Studios, and Mayfair Studios closed in 2008. So many good classic albums recorded there. But the one thing that we're here today is Queensryche's Warning was. They did some recording there, so I mean, there was 4 studios, and you kind of think, well, why would Queensryche record in 4 studios in London? I mean, maybe Scotty was recording drums there, maybe Jeff was doing his vocals, you never know. So, next bet on is we go looking for this other studio, which I have on my list right here. So, Bond Street, Baker Street, it's not far. We're going to Audio International Studios, now known as Airedale Recording at 18 Rod Martin Street. 12 months since I was inside the Handel and Hendrix Museum. So like, George Handel used to live there, and then Jimi Hendrix lived there. So they turned it into the Handel and Hendrix Museum. It's pretty cool, it's worth £10, and you get to see the flat Hendrix lived in, and the flats Mr. Handel lived in. Born in bloody Paris, Australia. I've always wanted to say this in public. hey, Warner Brothers Movie World. Talk about that, hey, Warner Brothers Movie World point thing. That was started on this TV show in Australia 25 years ago called The Late Show, which you may remember this guy, Tony Martin, those are people. Like, there's a really shit show in Australia called like Paradise Beach, featuring that lame-o of Matt Latantu, who was married to Olivia Newton-John for 11 years, even though there was an age difference of like 10 years. So, yeah. So the saying goes, like in Australia, like when you're talking to somebody and the conversation is pretty boring, this guy would say, hey, Warner Brothers Movie World. Actually, see, look at points, you know. Hey, cool, check it out, it's the Portuguese embassy. That's where I'm heading to, maybe this month, maybe next month. It's like the last country in mainland Europe we're gonna get to. Apart from Cyprus. I mean, Cyprus is considered European, but geography, it's in Asia. It's like right next to Israel and Lebanon and Turkey. You know? See, the Swedish flag and the ambassador's residence flies by nearby, and it's been over a month since I left Sweden. So I kind of missed not being in Sweden, but I mean, I had to like leave because I was running out of money, and the system was stupid. I mean, like, I don't think the government ever did give me a personal number. I mean, if they did, they'd probably send me a rejection letter to my house in Fasters saying, yeah, sorry, you know, get it. Because the stupid thing is in Sweden, without a personal number, you can't do jack anything. You can't open bank accounts and do that stuff. I mean, I still believe that someday I will move back to Sweden. I will finally get everything done, and I'll stay there, and I won't travel anywhere else. I mean, that's what I'm going to do after I visited, like, another 28 more countries. I want 72 countries. I mean, once I get to my 100th nation, I think pretty much that's going to be it for like travel. It's going to be like, nah, I don't need to travel anymore. I've been to 100 out of 193 United Nations members. So that's pretty much just half the world done. I want to spend the rest. Okay, so right here, out the road, across Rod Martin Street, there's a studio here which is still being used. As far as I remember, I think Adele recorded 21 in this studio, or maybe it was 19. But there's so many famous people from the 70s and onwards have recorded here, including T-Rex and Queensryche. At Rod Martin Street, on the road number 18, there's a recording studio here. Let's go find it. And there it is, number 18, one of the most famous studios in London. Not so much as famous as Abbey Road, but you see, it's had its name changed. I mean, look, it's now known as Edel. According to my paperwork, this is supposed to be, back in Queensryche's day, this was known as Audio International Studio. Apparently it's not getting used today. Well, it's Saturday. I guess it must not be cheaper to record. Because you remember when Queensryche recorded their first EP in America, they actually recorded it in the midnight hours in the graveyard areas because it was so much cheaper. So I kind of reckon they might have recorded in the evening. But according to Wikipedia, they actually went over budget. They had a budget of $300,000 American dollars. But then they overspent that, so somebody else had to master the warning record. Embassy for the United Kingdom. I used to go past Angolan Embassy in Stockholm when I lived there. So the exciting thing is that in Angola you can now get a visa on arrival without so much letter of invitation stuff. So I mean, Luanda is one of like 28 cities I really want to visit before I retire from traveling. Because Luanda is like the most expensive city in the world, so it's much more expensive than Oslo. I mean, like a can of Coke is like £2 over there, like some chicken on the side of the road is like £5. A watermelon is like $50, can you believe it? But I won't really believe that until I go there. I mean, I'll probably only be able to afford to stay there for a few days, because there's no hostels. I mean, there's Airbnbs, but I mean, accommodation will be so much more expensive than what they've got in Port Moresby and apart from. Okay, so whoever drew this stupid poster or made this logo should be sued for copyright. I mean, look at the letters. Those D's, they are so familiar to me. Hello, look, this is like a Def Leppard logo. I mean, look, see that's the D from the Def. See, D, A, D. Then there's. Make your own logo. I mean, I could have drawn something better than that with my own cerebral palsy crippled. You see, M&M's, they always remind me of my English father. He always used to buy me M&M's as a child. And he still does. But only when I'm living in Cairns. Because that's where he lives in Cairns. So, what I'm going to go do now, we're just going to walk up to Abbey Studios. Just past this big area of like London. And for laughs, we might even find where Jackie Collins used to live. This is the St. John's Woods area. Up this road, Abbey Studios. And then if I keep going up further north, I should be able to find where Jackie Collins used to live. I mean, like the funny thing was, Jackie Collins, she had a house in this area. And then so like her father was working with the Beatles, so he would be working right here. So, you know, that story, I vlogged that about a year ago. And the only way I actually found that house is by googling like Jackie Collins London, and it basically said, oh yeah, this house she lived in the 70s and the 60s and the 80s, it was sold for like £11 million. Quite an impressive price. See, the hilarious thing about this Abbey Road crossing is there's actually a webcam nearby that records 24 hours a day. And like, I've actually met some people who've been like, they've called their friends from Abbey Studios and basically said, look, I'm going to cross the street now. Can you please look out for me on the webcam and take a screenshot? I mean, like, you couldn't look past the past 24 hours and see yourself. So today, it's like, right now it's 5 minutes past 4, so when I go home tonight, I'll like look for 4 PM and they should be able to find me. So everybody here, they're just like waiting, they're just taking photographs. Look at this. I just want to be one of the thousands of millions of people who have done this famous crossing. I mean, I first came here in 2011, and I keep coming back here every time I'm in London. So we're closing in on Abbey Road Studios. Now, I'd like to think, I'm not a big Beatles fan, but I'm kind of guessing that the Beatles, they recorded like all their albums in there and stuff. And the most important thing was Queensryche recording Warning in that famous studios in 83, 84. So like this is like the third studio they're at. There's a plaque up on the wall, I can't read it. I think it's Beatles for reference and stuff, but I mean it's not open to the public. Like when my mate Arthur, he actually went inside Abbey Studios while the Love Zombies recently were recording their new album. And you gotta think about all the famous people in rock music who have recorded here. Like there's U2, Green Day, there's Def Leppard. And on the downside there's fucking Kylie Minogue and a bunch of just dumb tough nuts. So, things like right here, people just vandalize this every day. I mean, like, if Abbey Road Studios have a brain, they basically put the cameras up saying if you vandalize this area, you will get busted. I mean, that's what's happening where the house Freddie Mercury died. Like, there's a sign saying, please don't vandalize this area, otherwise you're going to get a criminal record. Oh, Queensryche, the Warning, recorded in that building right over there. See, this is the interesting thing with Abbey Road. Like right here, Pink Floyd records Pipe for the Gates of the Dawn in the Studio 3. The Beatles premiere All You Need Is Love during the world's first international satellite TV broadcast. The Beatles Abbey Road album released. Pink Floyd, The Dark Side of the Moon, 1973, recorded here. The world's first satellite link-up recording session takes place in Sydney, Australia. Well, at least I could have mentioned Queensryche right here. It's like 1980s. I mean, hello. They record their album right here. Look, even Deep Purple. I've just been inside Abbey Road shops, and for £25 you can buy a book about the history of Abbey Roads. Now, it has the decency to say Louis and John recorded one of the first like proper hits, if not for you, a cover of Bob Dylan at Abbey Road Studios in 1971. But I got no decency to mention Queensryche. I mean, you turn to the back of the Linux page, you go to look for Q, and they've only got Queen. I mean, hello, I mean, yes, Queen were pretty good and influential and other bands, but that's not the point. I mean, I want to read stuff about good bands that weren't really that big in this country. I mean, yes, Queensryche, they did a lot of albums and stuff, but they weren't top 40 hit darlings. Testing, testing, testing. Sound test, 1 2 1 2. No rattle, roll, just holding. Now this is Hamilton Terrace. A lot of famous people in London live here in NWH. And one of them who used to live here is Jackie Collins. Now what I've read that Jackie used to live in this street from like the late 1960s until she left to go to America in 1982 with her husband Oscar Lerman. So she must have written like her first 12 books in that house over there. And it was sold for like 11 million a few months after she died. Yeah. So the one thing that annoys me these days about British people who do go overseas is when they die, their remains get buried in whatever country they're living in. Like, I mean, like when you go to LA, right, Jackie Collins is buried in Westwood Memorial Park, Lemmy is buried in Forest Lawn, Hollywood Hills, and so is Jimmy Bain of Rambo. So even though these three people were born in the United Kingdom, their remains are buried in foreign lands, America. See, when I die, like I've said many times, don't fucking bury me in Australia. I hate that country. Scatter some of my ashes in Sweden, and maybe some in London, and just put up like a Martin Anthony Overland Metalhead playground. You see, the problem is with this area, like I can't really remember where her house was. I'm talking about Jackie Collins. I know it's Hamilton Terrace. That's what the media told us all in 2015. But funny thing was, there's a house down the road, and it said this famous painter, writer, lived there for 30 years until 2007. So I mean, if there's a blue plaque up there, I kind of think maybe later on in life they could put a blue plaque up for Jackie Collins. I mean, those blue plaques you see where Freddie Mercury used to live and stuff. You can only put those blue plaques 20 years after the person dies, so that means I've got another 17 more years until I can put a blue plaque up down this road, there's one of these houses over there. So 17 more years, I can be able to put a blue plaque up that says Jackie Jill Collins lived here in the 1960s, 1980s. So I'll be 50 when that happens. I mean, God make you live to 50 and onwards, even with all my medical conditions, all the medicines that we take to stay alive, But other than that, my next project, which I really want to get done, is I want to get a blue plaque in Chelsea, in number 44, where Steve Clark lived and died. So I mean, Steve Clark's been dead for over 20 years now. He deserves a blue plaque. I mean, once they put that blue plaque up in the Heathrow Airport where Freddie Mercury used to live, I thought, you know what, Steve Clark, he deserves a blue plaque as well. 5:30 in the afternoon, it's starting to rain. I'm in Islington, trying to find the last of my studios. It's Queensryche, they recorded down this road at 311 and 312. Angel Recording Studios, 311, 312 up the street, Islington. Shouldn't be far from here. So right here is the front door, 311 up the street, 311, 312. This is Angel Recording Studios, according to my notes. Yes. So this is where Queensryche did record some of their album of The Warning in 1984. So it's still a recording studio. Yeah, Angel Recording. It's in that building up there. The Warning was recorded. So this all here, this building, this is Angel Recording Studio. So in 1984, the guys in Queensryche were living in London making their first full-length album, Warning. And so this is the front door where they would have entered. But unfortunately, there's no signs that say this is Angel Recording Studios. I don't know why. Probably just they don't like being... Probably owners, they don't want to be like Abbey Studios. Because you want to know if all the tourists go to bloody Abbey Road instead of here. I mean, tourists, they should be coming here and seeing what magic.